Greetings, folks. An Horum here, and I have a confession to make. I sometimes play co-op battles. Now, before you decide that you need to go jump into your apocalypse shelter, or you need to make a run on the bank and stuff all of your cash into mattresses, allow me to explain. So first, I think like many people, I play co-op to complete certain missions and tasks that wargaming sets before us. For example, the fourth phase of the Tier 10 unique upgrade personal assignments requires getting 15 wins in a Tier 10 ship, and doing that in anything other than co-op can be both very time-consuming and mentally challenging, and sometimes it can feel like the universe is going to end from heat death before you get that 15th win. So, like many others, I use co-op for those purposes. I also play co-op sometimes when I want to get away from the really ugly vitriol that is so prevalent in a lot of PvP matches, especially at mid and high tier. In my experience, such unpleasantries are quite rare in co-op because unless the human players really screw up, getting a win in co-op can almost be taken for granted. And finally, sometimes I just want to play in a way that is easier and simpler and more relaxing, like when I just want to shoot stuff. And that brings me to this replay and my favorite activity in co-op, which is brawling in German battleships. So for this replay, I bring you a co-op battle in the Tier 9 German battleship, the Friedrich der Große. For this replay, we are in a domination battle here on Tears of the Desert. Each team brings 5 battleships, 2 cruisers, and 1 destroyer to the match. I think most people know that in co-op, the bot team will mirror the human team in terms of the ships that are brought to the match. My ship build for the Freddy is pretty typical of a German battleship with secondaries. I take the 406mm guns for faster reload and better DPM. My upgrades will obviously reflect a secondary build. I do take the main battery modification 3 for the slot 6 upgrade for faster reload on the main guns, and my commander skills are a blend between concealment and secondaries. I do not take expert marksman because even with the main battery modification 3 and the slot 6 upgrade, the main battery turret traverse is about 37 seconds for 180 degrees, which is completely playable without expert marksman. Now, I don't expect to spend too much time talking about gameplay or tactics. Gameplay in co-op is usually very predictable, and tactics are simple. Firstly, the bots mostly just move forward toward the closest opponent that they can see and fire on them. And secondly, playing the objective, that is taking and holding caps, is usually unnecessary. Matches normally end with the bot team being wiped out well before either team can reach 1,000 points. And while the bots do sometimes take caps, in my experience, that's only circumstantial because they happen to be sailing through the cap in order to engage opponents. And those same bots will just as mindlessly sail out of a cap and fail to take it in order to pursue an opponent. In fact, you might have noticed earlier in the match in chat, some folks had called out which caps they were headed to, and I kind of sarcastically mentioned that I was going, where one person was saying, I'm going to A or I'm going to C, I said, I'm going to kill bots. And that kind of reflects basically how this, how co-op works. So why do I pick German battleships for co-op? Well, the simple answer is I love to brawl. And unfortunately, in PvP, especially at higher tiers and even at mid tiers, brawling opportunities can be few and far between. And German battleships, more than any other battleship line, really depend on being able to get into close quarter situations and be able to brawl in order to shine and be effective. So camping is very prevalent in upper tiers and even, like I said, in mid tiers, and German counterparts in the IJN and US Navy lines can leverage their range and their better accuracy to have more consistent results in a camping meta, and German battleships, as a result, in my opinion, tend to suffer in terms of getting more consistent results. In fact, I think more than any other German battleship, the Freddy suffers more than any of her other bigger or little sisters, because she has relatively fewer guns, and therefore suffers even more in long-range gunnery situations. And I think this is a big reason that a lot of people get frustrated with the Freddy, is that they just don't feel like that they can compete, and that either comes from not being able to get into brawling situations, or not knowing how to get into brawling situations without getting focused out before that close engagement actually occurs. In co-op, because the bots mindlessly move forward and engage opponents as close as possible, brawling situations are essentially guaranteed, and so they're a great way. You want to have sort of a very relaxing, sort of non-confrontational way of getting into a brawling situation. This is a great way to do it. Now, I can say that even with my biases towards German battleships, or German ships in general, I fully agree that the Freddy is the weakest of the Tier 9 battleships, precisely because she can't compete against the number of guns and the accuracy of her counterparts at this tier. And unless she's able to get into a brawling situation, she really suffers. On the other hand, if I know that I'm going to be in a close quarter brawling situation like we're seeing here in a PvP battle, I would rather take a German battleship over any other nation, because while there are other battleships now, the French line, the Massachusetts, that are offering as good or better secondary capabilities as the German battleships still have, in my opinion, a significant advantage over all of their counterparts, and that is their turtleback armor scheme. And we're going to see an example of this as I'm going to have a drive-by with this Roma. So again, other nations' battleships, the French, Massachusetts, have demonstrated very strong secondaries. There's been a lot of power creep there. German battleships, if I'm going to be in a drive-by like this, I'm going to want to be in a German ship, because you cannot do this to a German battleship at this range. So granted, those situations don't happen very often, but if they are going to happen, I still think that the German battleship has no peer in terms of being able to tank a drive-by situation like that. Even the French battleships will have difficulty handling that. I have regularly citadeled the Alsace, the Republic, at close range like this. The Republic, if you catch it on the back third of its hull, you can get multiple citadels. And obviously the Yamato has the infamous cheek that's underneath the second gun that can be easily citadeled as well. So we're going to wrap up here. I'm up to 227,000 damage, 4 kills, over 400 secondary hits. I'm trying to get this Alabama down before it looks like he's going to try to ram the Conqueror. I think our Conqueror player disconnected here because there's no smoke coming out of the smokestacks. And we are actually going to get him down right before he gets able to get the ram in. So, again, this wasn't a PvP match, but I hope that you found the gameplay interesting or fun to watch, and that the commentary was useful. And please do leave your comments below. And as always, I hope to see you out there, and I wish you happy sailing.